remember those initial months, they were very difficult, very, very challenging. I remember feeling, even though I was with my husband in here, we didn't know anyone, and it felt really lonely at times.
Hello, so today we speak to Sonia and Sofia, two nurses from Portugal, who also happen to be sisters. Hello, Sonia and Sofia, how are you?
Hello.
Hello.
We good? Yes.
Good.
So, firstly, tell me your motivation, why you moved from Portugal to the United Kingdom.
So for me, when I finished my nursing degree, this was 2012, Portugal was facing very serious economic challenges at that time, and the possibilities of getting a job were very remote. And at that time, UK was offering very good opportunities for nurses in terms of career progression, salaries, and I think the combination of all of that gave me certainly the motivation to come here.
2012.
This was when I finished my nursing degree, and then I came in 2013, beginning of 2013.
Okay, so that's 11 years ago. What about Sofia?
Well, I moved in 2017, but I only started working in 18. I think my reasons were a bit different because, not like my sisters, Sonia came alone, so there was no one here to really support her.
Okay.
But when I came in, I already had family here. So
Okay. Susanna was here as well.
yeah.
So just to, there's three of them actually. I was hoping to get Susanna here
family.
as well. Yeah. So you thought I'd join the sisterhood.
Yeah, so for me
UK.
it was kind of a decision that was not difficult to take because I already had them here, and I think since I started my degree I had this idea of coming here, wasn't it? I never thought even in working in Portugal. I knew that probably I wouldn't get the job I wanted. I really wanted to do critical care at the time as well, and back home it's hard for a newly qualified nurse to get a job like that. I probably would have to start in something like, like a care home maybe,
Right.
or maybe a ward. So I think that all of this really was what brought me here, to be honest.
So you obviously was the last one to leave.
Yeah.
Susanna and Sonia were already here. And I know from the stories I hear from you guys, from Sonia, so she doesn't remember this, crying Christmas because I think over Christmas.
Here we go.
You don't remember that, but but parents are here. Anyway, so you're very close to your family.
Yeah.
Okay. It must have been hard for your parents for you, all three of you, to move to the United Kingdom. Tell me about that.
So yeah, it was extremely hard. Absolutely. We are all very close to each other, isn't it? And when this happened, we all came here. It was like that was taken away from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was the first one coming, as Sofia said, and I came with my husband, followed by Susanna, which is our oldest sister, and then Sofia came last.
Yeah.
And I think the moment that was most difficult for my parents was when Sofia left, for sure. Because that was it for them, from a full house, they went to an empty house.
Right.
And that is very difficult to accept, I think, and to manage emotionally as a parent. So, yeah.
Although they were always very supportive of us coming here.
Absolutely.
And they were the first ones to say, go because that will be the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard, yes, emotionally hard, and all of that. But at the same time, they feel proud and they feel happy for our achievements. And I think that's.
I've always said to Sonia, your parents must be so proud of you.
They are, and they keep saying that, yes.
Yeah. They should be.
They are definitely our biggest supporters in this journey. They always motivated us to look for better.
And to be honest,
parents,
nowadays,
you've done well.
They did.
They did.
And they do.
Yeah,
still
they
do.
still do.
to be honest, nowadays it's so easy to be close
Yes.
because you are at a distance of a call. You know, we got phones,
Oh yeah.
video calls. So
Yes.
it's not like a few years ago
Yeah.
where you would move to another country and you
Yeah.
wouldn't see your family.
Well, my
for
time, I had to
Yeah.
buy a calling card.
Yeah,
Yes.
£5 only
I-
gave you
Yeah.
75 minutes.
Yes, yeah, we had that in Portugal as well
Yeah.
a few years back.
Yes.
You put the card on the phone
And you will call. Yeah.
yeah, you got minutes allowance.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, I can only imagine what it was like at the airport when you
Yeah,
finally boarded that flight.
to be honest, it was not difficult because my parents boarded with me.
The weren't.
Yes,
Yeah.
they came with me to England.
Good riddance.
Because that was in a Christmas,
Time was
yeah.
Christmas time.
So we came to spend Christmas here. They went back home and I stayed.
Okay.
So
That
there was the moment.
So it was quite different.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was the moment when what my mom says is that the journey back home was the most
Was harder.
difficult.
Yeah.
Because they were used for me to go back home with them every time we came here to spend
Yeah.
Christmas. But that Christmas they went home alone and I
Mm.
stayed. So I think there was the difference and that was the most difficult part probably for them.
absolutely.
That's what she keeps saying
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you already told me what it was you saw that made you move to the UK. Has it been worth it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think obviously I talked about my motivation coming here, but for me also was the prospects of having a more comfortable life and a better future. And UK at that time had a very strong and developed economy. And I think that gives reassurance to someone when making a decision as big as this, isn't it? And of course, I remember reading a lot about the country and about other people's experiences coming into UK. And it was very clear that UK is like a country that has a lot to offer to those
For you, yeah.
who equally have a lot to give.
Yeah.
And for me, it just made sense. And
Yeah.
all this journey that I've personally been doing, absolutely worth it.
For you, Sophia?
Yeah,
You're getting married soon.
I am,
Yeah.
yes. But yeah, it's absolutely worth it because otherwise to start with, we wouldn't think about coming here, isn't it?
No.
And
If,
I-
like I said, if it wasn't for the economic downturn during that time, I don't think the Spanish and the Portuguese
Yeah,
would have come to the UK
Yeah,
to work
probably.
because there'll be no reason. Not the food, not the weather.
definitely
So
not
there
the
has to
weather.
be
Yeah.
economic reasons
Yes.
for you to uproot and move and
Yes.
leave all that behind.
Yeah.
And the opportunities you get here, I'm not even talking about work because we already know the opportunities we are given at work, right?
Yeah.
In terms of, like progressing in our careers. But as a personal life, I had opportunity to travel, and I think if I was back home, probably I wouldn't have traveled that much.
Okay.
Here you
The
got
working-
the time to
yeah.
do it. You got
The working conditions
Yeah.
are different, aren't
yeah,
they?
you got the time to do it, and you also got the economic possibility of doing it, like going to other countries, meeting other cultures, and for someone who wants to do that as well, it's definitely worth it because you got these opportunities.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because I still remember the first time I actually met a Portuguese person.
yeah,
Because there's an episode in Friends. I don't know if you watch Friends, but Phoebe said that one of the characters in Friends, in her bucket list was to meet a Portuguese person.
Why is
And
that?
I don't know. I don't know. But it was just one of those. Yeah, and that was like I remember that episode when I met the first Portuguese person I know, which was Mariana, and now she's
Yes.
working.
Yes.
She's working elsewhere as a specialist nurse. So you've obviously built a life here, both of you, and Susanna as well. And then basically, what has been your biggest challenge?
So for me personally, I think it was obviously leaving my family and friends behind. Leaving what I know for the unknown. And I remember those initial months, they were very difficult, very, very challenging. I remember feeling, even though I was with my husband in here, we didn't know anyone. And it felt really lonely at times. And and I remember feeling very anxious as well at some point, because I think not having that support system around you, just that thought, it's very scary.
Yeah.
So for me, that certainly was the biggest challenge. But I think at some point throughout this journey, you start embracing that change, okay, and then you starting fearing less uncertainty somehow, and things start becoming better then. And I think that's how I somehow overcame this challenge.
Yeah. What about just for you? What was your?
That's definitely different from
Yeah, because they were already
because
here.
when I came here, like you were all here, like I
Yes.
had a house to go.
Yeah.
It's not like I came and I didn't have where
So
to
yours
go.
is the happy.
I didn't even know if I had
happy
a house.
end. Yeah.
I read it online.
So yours
No.
happy ending
Yeah,
story.
so
Yeah.
I came here. I
So
had
Sonia
two
and
houses.
Susanna paved the way for you. Just go. Move. This is your room.
I could choose the house
Yeah.
I was staying. I actually,
Yes.
you remember, I split the stay.
Yes, she did.
A few months in your house, a
Yes,
few months
it
in
was.
Susanna, so everyone was
But that's
happy
good.
with my
That's
presence.
good.
That's good.
That's very good. Yeah.
But yes, I did have a challenge quite different from yours, but
Yeah.
for me it was the language.
Okay.
Because when I came here, different from your time, they started the English exam.
Yes.
You
they
remember
did.
that?
Yes. Yes.
And it was really difficult to pass.
Mhm.
I was about to give up because I had to try a few times
Did
before
you?
I could actually
Is that the
get it.
IELTS or
Yes,
OET? Yeah.
IELTS. I ended up doing the OAT because
This
I
was
found
easier.
it easier. But I failed at least 2 IELTS before.
Yeah.
And that was putting me down because at the time I couldn't work as a band 5. So I had to stay in the unit where I were. And I wanted to move to ICU,
Yes.
you remember?
She was very
But I
keen.
couldn't move
Yeah.
without the exam. So I think that was my challenge
Yeah.
during that time, mostly.
When they introduced that, I think it was 2015 when they introduced the English
Yes,
test, 15,
yeah.
16.
It does make sense in
does.
some way because you don't want anyone that is not able to write or to speak English,
Yeah.
isn't it? To
Well,
be
I'll
on-
make a confession. I was one of the very ardent proponents of, they should.
Yes.
Only because we employed a nurse then from Spain who could barely string. I think you remember who she is, but anyway. And I was like, well, if it was us, from the Philippines or from
Yes.
India, we would
Yeah.
have had to pass.
Yeah.
And not just pass, but pass, at an academic level.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But it's quite hard.
Yeah,
The
it is hard.
IELTS is it's very hard because you need to write really
Yeah.
perfectly English. in
yeah, I
order
think
to
it's a
pass.
7 you need to pass.
Yeah.
So, and your biggest achievement so far?
I think for me, looking back and looking now, was definitely all the social network that I have built with people at work and outside work, because I think that has helped me to build my life in here with more confidence, and definitely feel more supported in this journey as an immigrant. So I think that was that.
Okay.
I don't know if I have any big achievement already.
Yes, you.
I'm sure you have.
Because you're
Well,
of course,
working
you're
in
about to get
ICU.
married.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I see
yes,
you. It was a big dream for you.
It was a big dream for me.
Yeah.
That's true. But maybe I felt inspired by you. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe buying a house in the UK
Yeah.
was a good achievement for me. You
Yeah.
know. I'm.
I think you try and minimize the things you've achieved,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
you don't realize the amount of work you and your potentially future husband put
Yeah.
in to get to that stage.
Yeah, yeah.
And you just think it's a stage that you have to go through, but actually there are steps to get to that.
Yeah,
So, and we minimize work,
Sometimes we need to kind of give more attention to the details, isn't it?
Yeah.
And see the
Yeah.
small things that we achieve, and we
Yeah.
think they are not,
I mean,
not big
obviously,
achievements. But
or you go the other way, you celebrate every little thing like the sun rising or,
Yeah.
a bird flying across your house. But
it's
anyway,
like romanticizing
yeah,
life.
you
so-
do. You do. Oh, people do that anyway. So, all in that, so must have taught you a lesson in life. What was your biggest lesson so far?
I think for me personally was about to embrace change fully and not just part of it. I think when someone makes a decision as big as this one of coming to another country, um, in the beginning somehow you underestimate how difficult things can be, and sometimes you struggle to accept it. Fact is, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard in the beginning. It's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
You just need to accept that.
Yeah.
And you cannot change that, but you can change the way you respond to that. So you might as well just focus your energy and your focus into making things work. And I think for me that was my biggest lesson, because I did struggle in the beginning,
No, nothing ever grows in comfortable.
Exactly.
You have to be.
Now I see that, and I definitely take that experience to life now.
Yeah.
Everything that's worth achieving is hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To
Absolutely.
be resilient, isn't it? Not to give up at the
Just on the first
because
opportunity.
sometimes you have not all the days will be good, and
No.
sometimes you feel like, oh, okay, I want to give up, but
Yeah.
just be resilient and embrace what life brings you.
Yeah. And work around it.
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. Yeah. Obviously, unless it's a burning tree, you can't embrace.
Well, that's a different
Yeah.
situation.
So, do you think, with all this now, do you think you'll eventually move back?
I will. I think Sonia will not. I'm speaking for you, but I think.
Well, we had this conversation before.
We speak about this all the time as a
Oh,
family,
really?
like the three of us.
Yeah.
We talk about it, and
Yeah, we do.
I think that my parents have a lot of expectations about myself going back.
Really?
They know you and Susanna will probably not go back.
So Susanna won't.
I don't
She
think
said
so.
that as well.
I don't think so Susanna will back, and
No.
I don't like to say never.
Yeah.
We had this conversation before, because you never know what life will bring. But as for the moment, I really don't have plans to go back.
Yep.
It might change with circumstances of life. You never know. But yes, I don't have plans, and Susanna doesn't have plans as far as we're aware.
You have your kids growing in England, and that makes a lot of difference.
Yes.
Yep.
That
Certainly.
changes a lot.
Yeah.
For me, as I don't have any kids, it's easy
Yeah.
for me to say, yes, I want to go back, and I will go back.
Yeah.
And I hope to keep that, I'm not expecting to go back in the next 10 years, maybe, but I want to be able to build a comfortable life and then go
Retire.
back there.
Retired. How old are you?
I was going to say not retire in 10 years.
She wishes.
But,
You're a
she
long
could do
way
that.
from that.
we
yeah.
never know.
Yeah. So, with all that wisdom you've just said, give me one advice. Say you're looking at your. Oh, this is gonna sound cringy.
Yeah.
You're looking at a younger Sonia. What advice would you give her, or anyone, or a Portuguese nurse moving to the UK?
Well, I would say that start making connections from the very beginning.
Right.
Create
From
relations.
when you land in Heathrow. Oh.
Yeah, in the airport already. Start creating relationships
Right.
with people.
Yeah.
Know the country, know the people, know the culture. Okay, because those things, those elements, will help you in the long run to have that sense of belonging, which is very, very important
Yeah.
to keep you going through this journey as an immigrant.
You sound like you watched one of my videos.
Did you?
No,
Which-
I said exactly the same
Oh, okay.
thing. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we share the same opinion
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be way more simple than you and just say to do whatever makes them happy, because
That's true too.
Yes.
leaving our country
Unless it's
is
illegal.
not for everyone.
Is it something
Yes,
illegal?
if it's illegal, I'm not advice.
Yeah.
But
Don't do that. Yeah. Or don't
live-
get caught.
living
Right.
to another country is not for everyone, and you need to do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can be happy somewhere else, try, have a go, see how you feel. If you're not, then
Yeah.
don't go, because in the end of the day, what matters is to be happy, not
Yes.
the money or.
Yeah, you say that simple. That's very hard to achieve. That's quite, relatively relatively profound in when you talk about happiness.
Yeah.
That's not simple. That's
No.
some people never find.
It depends, because you can see happiness on the small things
Yes.
of life, like
Yeah, yeah.
being together with your family.
Like doing this,
Yeah.
Or,
like,
yeah,
like
like
talking to
doing
me,
this,
you know.
like
Doing
Yeah.
this. Yeah, the small things that sometimes you don't pay attention, and,
Yeah.
and then you look back and they make you happy. I don't know, for example, Christmas together, that make us
Yes.
happy,
very,
you know.
spending that time
And
as a
you know,
family.
like I said, so when I mistakenly put Sonia. Anyhow.
We'll talk about this.
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. You've forgotten about it. I haven't.
Clearly.
And what are you most grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful for so many things in my life, really grateful. But if I can only choose one, just to simplify and probably related to this journey as an immigrant, I would be grateful for all the foundations that my parents gave me as a person and professionally, because that gave me all the tools I needed to make this journey as an immigrant with more resilience, with more confidence, and certainly with more bravery, because it's such a difficult thing to do. I think we always minimize how hard that is, looking back now,
Right.
but it's extremely hard. And I'm not gonna make it look nice now, but it is. So yeah, I think I'm grateful for that, because that gave me everything to go through this journey,
Yeah.
in a
Preach,
better
sister.
way.
Preach.
Yeah. She's really good with talking.
Yeah, well, so are you. You know.
You are.
Again, that's mine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
Well, but yeah, as an immigrant, I'm as well grateful to start with to my parents, because they are our first motivation, and that person who is always there saying yes, go, giving us support, all of that. But I'm also grateful to the people I met in England who supported me, because through the different jobs I had, I met people and I made friends. People who live there in the UK, and they supported me, and they still do today, and I'm grateful to that people as well, because at your workplace you do need to have people support you as well. That's really important, not only on your outside life, with family and friends,
believe in you.
but yes, but on your workplace is really important, because that gives you the motivation to continue and to want to do more
and better,
and
isn't it?
better. Yeah, you want to do better, so you don't disappoint people around you as well.
Heard.
I think so.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Sophia.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure talking to you both. And that's it for now. See you soon.
Well, subscrevam o canal e deixem o vosso like.